It is 7. Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to the October 11th, 2022 Conservation Commission meeting, which I call to order at 6:33 p.m. Thursday night. In attendance, we have our esteemed colleague,
Martin McLaughlin. I'll introduce myself.
I am Chris Shipper,
John Cusack.
and on screen we have Pam Flynn, Linda Andros, Robin Bates Mason, and Tiger Mann. Thank you all for attending. Pam, thank you for arranging this as always. Merci beaucoup.
Ariane.
I would like to approve the regular meeting minutes of May 12th, August 11th, and September 8th, 2022. Do I have a motion? So moved.
I have a correction on September 8th.
Got it?
It has, I was not in attendance at the meeting, but I am listed as under new business, suggesting that we prepare a notice to draw attention to the spotted lanternfly. I think that was just copied from another, from the other minutes. You know, it's just a mistake and probably a copy and paste, but it needs to be taken out.
Point taken. We'll have that paragraph deleted. Thank you, Linda.
Mhm.
Any other comments or concerns?
No, they were great. Great minutes.
Approved with that one exception. Thank you. Let's move on to the agenda. As always, we've been kind of spending a year or almost a year and a half or 2 years now on sustainability issues. Robin, if you have any updates you'd like to give us regarding sustainability, we'd love to hear it.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, thanks. So regarding Sustainable Connecticut recertification, we're working on 2 equity actions. One with Tiger, we're just waiting until the swap shops open to finish the equity action on the transfer station. We're waiting till the swap shops open so we can do a video. Polly Parsons from New Canaan High School is going to be working with us to create a video. The others, we need to schedule another meeting regarding the equity action we had regarding the food pantry, have some more information from Food Rescue. We're talking with some restaurants. We found out they have more information, so we need to have another meeting. And then one more equity action we need, we'll probably pull together regarding the swap shop on it separately and reaching out to community partners. So that's where we are on all the other projects and points. We should be okay. We just need to reach out to Lynn Brooks regarding some P&Z stuff. Hopefully if she has a little more time. Otherwise, I think we're good.
That's good news. I don't know whether you're aware of it, but the Land Trust did do a kind of an equity program with Future 5, inviting a group of 20 up to visit the sculpture gardens and discuss open space. But I don't know whether that would qualify in your equity requirements, but that was completed about 6 weeks ago.
Let me reach out to, I'll talk to Beth Sanford about that. It's usually we have to have a meeting with the minutes to be able to qualify, but I'll definitely check it out.
You can check on that front.
Did you say Future 5?
Future 5.
Yeah, I work with them, but I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay. All right. Robin, while you're on, there are some, I don't know whether there are any updates on food scraps and on swap shop. Anything else you want to?
I don't have data, sorry, I don't know if Tiger does, on the weekly amounts at the transfer station right now.
Do you want me to give you that now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Swap shop. So we're continuing with the food scraps. We're just under 1,000 pounds a week. During the summer months, we were a little bit higher than that. But the month of September and October, we've been just under 1,000 pounds. To date, we have collected 45 tons since its inception. So we think it's doing quite well. We would like to see that number increase to about 1,500 pounds a week. Now it seems to be that would be a very good number for us to attain, but still it seems to be quite successful, and will continue.
Good news.
And Tiger, just a question, because we've had people say this to us. Are the bins getting swapped out? Because we're having people tell us that the bins are filled.
Yeah, we swapped. We have more than enough bins
Okay.
to satisfy the use. Let's put it that way. We have more than enough bins at the station. We just don't have enough spots, enough room to have them all out, right? And then if we have them all out, people will fill, even if they put one, household inside a toter, we get charged for that toter even if it's not full, right? So we try to rotate our toters, and we have enough toters to satisfy past the 1,500 pounds, which we haven't surpassed yet. So all they have to do is let us know, and the guy checks it intermittently. If they open up one and it's full, they just got to go to the next one, and then they can
Yeah.
tell
Okay.
the
So we'll just
attendant
tell people.
just tell them to swap it out. To tell them to
Yep.
keep looking. There's definitely one in the row that has room.
All right. Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Chris, nothing from NC Ford that was on the agenda because we need the numbers from curbside compost. They had a little issue with picking up last week, I guess because of work on Elm Street, so they couldn't pick up from a couple of the restaurants. And then the last thing is the swap shop. We have finished painting. The floors were finished this week. And we're just looking to put in the shelving now, and we're having someone come on Tuesday to give us a sketch design, and we're working on signage at the moment.
Got it. So is it your thinking that by year end you'll open, or is it something you want to wait till spring, or how's the timing of that affected?
I was hoping by November, beginning of November.
Coming up fast, right?
Yeah, that's great.
It's been great to see the progress on that. So thank you. And also, Robin, congratulations on your Planet New Canaan efforts and your fundraiser. I hope it was a successful evening in your mind. There certainly was a great crowd there, and all tribute to you and your crew for what's being done here.
Oh yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, we were happy with the results.
Very good. Very good. If you have any other comments, Robin, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Linda, you're next on the agenda. I managed to look at the Ordinance and Bylaws Committee meeting. Could you give us a brief summary on what the outcome of that meeting was and how things stand?
Well, essentially, there was no real consensus. It was mostly still a discussion meeting. And they did agree to meet again in the future to discuss the topic. It seemed that they were rather positive on amending the noise ordinance with a seasonal and time frame restriction. But that again would have to be discussed in a future meeting. And there was some support for an information campaign and questions about who should be really leading the campaign, and some suggestions on partnerships. And I guess I have a question for the commissioners as to what role they believe that the Conservation Commission should play going forward. Are we going to continue with the leadership and develop an information campaign?
I guess, I think it's a great question, because my sense is that from listening to the meeting, this is all about quiet neighborhoods, leaf blower noise, health effects, and what have you. And so it's an interesting question, which is, it's brought to our attention by citizens. We recognize the challenge, and, clean air and noise pollution, these are all things we're concerned about. Is this something that we should be taking the leadership on?
I wanted to say something about that.
Mhm.
I'm all for this, first of all, but secondly, I think we're wasting energy on something that ain't gonna happen. It's not, you're not gonna get these professionals that are coming in on every highway. You're behind a truck with the grass cutting equipment in it, and I don't see them changing. I don't see the ability to put new equipment to work 6 months a year, 5 months a year, 4 months a year, and write that off. I just don't see it happening. So what I'm saying is, there are things we can do to help that will have a good effect on the economy and the environment. But I think this is just a further reach.
I think, so my point of view is slightly different than that. I'd say, I think if we don't do it, I don't know who in town is going to do it. And I think making some type of progress, even if it's very minimal, to kind of further the effort is something that we might.
I think it's worthy of doing, but I'm just saying, the amount of energy going in to get results, that energy could be put into work elsewhere and get more results. That's all. It is a good idea, but I think the amount of, you're pushing a rock uphill.
You're pushing a rock uphill, as Linda probably well feels, right? No doubt, but it can't.
But there are communities who achieve this, and it is a lot of work, and but there are communities that are successful. So, it is doable. It's just,
Might we define a goal that is less than all encompassing, that is actually quite achievable? Like your concern feels as if we try and encompass the broad spectrum, that it's just
Possibly that's a sort of
different.
well, we're just calling for a limit, not a ban or even a restriction, a limit on the usage. At least this is the first step, a limit on the usage of leaf blowers on a seasonal basis with a time frame incorporated. Perhaps not on Sundays or, whatever. I mean, it's for the ordinance committee to really, really define what they want, especially if they're going to amend the noise ordinance. So it's the first step is really not a huge hurdle to cross. But I do think that anything that the town does, especially if there's going to be an enforcement, and they did talk about enforcement, that we should, we should continue with our efforts. There was a discussion about, I think if you all look at in our document that we sent to them, Chris, do you remember our proposal that we sent to the committee? We did talk about, we had certain things that we recommended that we might do, which one was I think you wanted a quiet neighborhood, a quiet days. John recommended we have a quiet day event. And then, but there was some positive discussion about a good neighbor approach, which was in our proposal. Giving guidelines to neighborhoods to sort of impose their own or to adapt their own kind of neighborhood restrictions. So those were all this, points of discussion. But again, they did agree to move it forward to discuss again. I think there is enough interest on in the committee to keep going.
If we're willing to consider ways to ameliorate the situation, as an example, we sit down and we talk and we say, if you've got a noise blower, not on the weekends. We don't want you on Saturday and Sunday. You want to cut it with a battery, fine, you can do it that way. And eventually we move it down to now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I think we could ease our way into
Yeah.
this.
Got it. So I think I kind of think there's a couple of dilemmas. One is, ordinance is trying to say, what way can we influence this? And it's the noise regulation, which is the one to get at. In other words, it's already on the books. It's just a question of how do we move that forward and say, you know, what about noise on Saturdays and Sundays kind of issues? So I think, Linda, what this is going to be is instead of a dramatic
And
ban or something dramatic, I think we're going to be looking very gradual, kind of a
I
3-year,
really think.
3 or 4 year
that's-
program.
I think
That's
that's.
all in our proposal. That's what we proposed in the beginning. That's what we proposed in the second document. And it's just having some agreement and then, you know, how much of my time I'm willing to dedicate. Now, there was, when we talked about partnerships, of course, Planet New Canaan came up as a good partner for this initiative, as well as the Sustainability Committee. Robin, are you still online? She's still here?
Yeah, if you can hear me, I'm here.
Yeah. So what do you think about the conservation? I mean, in other communities, the Conservation Commission has partnered with some kind of a local green organization. And then of course, they have sustainability committees in various towns as well. So
Well, I would have to go back to the Planet New Canaan board. I think they would be on board, especially for educational purposes, getting the
Mhm.
information out. But I would need to check with the board. But I'm also interested to see what's happening in Westport right now, because they've brought theirs back in. It looks like it's going for a vote, and if it does, it would start in March 2023.
right.
So theirs is back on again.
And they,
I-
yes, and they greatly, they did reduce their their stipulations considerably from when they first started.
Yeah, I
And so
think it's March, beginning of March to the end of April, they're allowed gas leaf blowers, and then again for another period in the fall with
Right.
electric allowed the other times, but it does not apply, it's not applicable to golf courses or to municipal properties.
Right, right.
You know,
That's-
the
and
gradual
But
improvement-
it was, I think it was Westport that had a really good approach to enforcement. But I'd have to look back on my notes. But anyway. So what about the Sustainability Committee? Is that something too that the committee would want to partner in?
So the sustainability team, to be honest, is I should know this more, but they're really just for Connecticut, Sustainable Connecticut certification.
Okay.
That's what the sustainability team does, because we're not the Conservation Commission.
Right, right.
We're put together to get that certification.
Okay, so that's just the mission of that, and then ongoing to continue to improve our certification status. Okay,
Right. We could definitely put together an educational program that would go towards points. However, the library, is kind of out of commission at the moment, and we already have enough points there. But that's something we could definitely look towards in the spring.
okay. Well, I don't think we're talking about doing anything, or the committee would be talking about doing anything until this next spring, and then it wouldn't be at, best possible time would be next fall, the fall of when it would be implemented. So we've got a lot of time here.
And Linda, I have one other suggestion in regards to the gradualist or awareness of it. It strikes me as I receive newsletters from the Beautification League or Planet New Canaan or the New Canaan Land Trust. And I'm sure even the Garden Club and the Waveney Park Conservancy, that there might be an opportunity to write a small essay on the challenges of gas-powered leaf blowers, its noise effect, its, just a
Sure.
couple of facts, and simply say, are you encouraging, are you using electric, or are you encouraging your land care professionals to use electric? It might be one way to spread that awareness, and I could certainly help you write that and reach out. It does seem to me that, it's gardeners,
Right.
people with-
Well, I think that the next step for us, I wanted to get a sense of, from the other commissioners, of how much they were in support of this. But then we need to put together sort of a media and marketing
Yeah. I
plan.
think
And
that might
what-
be a way.
Yeah, which is what I will do next if
That
you
might be
are,
a way to synthesize where we
Right.
are now.
right,
And go forward, and then, over time, even the town's parks department will eventually be looking at, as electric becomes more efficient, Dyson starts to build a better blower and things like that. We may see a gradual shift there, and even the parks department has a couple electric now too. So
Sure.
there is movement.
Right.
It's just a question of how far you want to push that rock, or how fast you want to push that rock up.
right, right. Okay,
The
That one.
question come up is the electric more expensive? Would the people be paying more for the service? That's a question that might come up.
Absolutely.
well,
And we-
there is an
we-
organization that has all of those statistics. Which I mentioned in my proposal, which I don't think anybody's read. But anyway, that has all these statistics, and they can come in and present to us, or they can be part of a symposium or some kind of a workshop that we might host. But all of that data is available.
Right.
So, and this organization also trains for a very small fee, trains landscapers in how to convert or how to promote their own business by using electric organic approaches and electric lawn care machines.
All right. Okay. Linda, I don't know whether you got everything you were looking for in that request, but I think that the issue is instead of a massive push against a lot of inertia, is to continue to apply gradual information and gradual pressure to come to a position. And I think the ordinance committee by
Yes.
choosing to use the noise level ordinance at least gives
Right.
people some firepower to say, even if we were to explain the noise level ordinance, and did you know that there was one, might help neighborhoods too. And then
Yes,
might-
absolutely. That, sort of a soft approach, and to continue to tell people about the toxic hazards. I mean, and to be made aware of that. And then, even if it moves the needle on a couple of people, or they make behavioral changes, I think we've achieved our goal.
No, but I think that there is something at a neighborhood level. It's just people influence their neighbors in a way to go forward or take steps themselves to modulate the amount of noise that's out there.
Right.
Is a big plus.
Right, and there are communities that we can model that have been successful, and we should, pay attention to what steps they took to get something in their town legislation.
Great. All right, Linda, thank you so much for leading that effort and bringing all this great information to bear. I think the story is there, and we'll gradually continue to get out if we find channels for it. And eventually we'll make some gradual change there. So Marty, thank you for your comments, John. Thank you too. Tiger, while you're here, I guess a quick update. We're thrilled about the tree planting program and the ARPA funds. I know you're making progress there. You want to fill us in on the planting and on solar and on GreenLink, any points that you'd like to make or share with the general public? You're on mute.
I pressed unmute and then pressed mute again. Sorry. So as far as solar goes, I'll give you a quick update. We have now 10 systems in place that currently have about 1,660 kilowatt DC, which is about 1,640,000 kilowatts annually, which should take about 265 houses off the grid and save us around $6.3 million over the life of the solar system, about 25 years. So we have everything in play that we could. We had a building committee about the police department today. They're looking at possibly having solar on that roof. We're looking at putting solar on the playhouse. If that will work, that would feed probably the teen center, maybe take the teen center off the grid. So we are looking at every opportunity that we possibly can to increase our solar footprint. As far as trees go, we did receive the ARPA funding, $200,000, 100 and 100 for the roads, 100 for the parks. The Beautification League is helping us on the road side. They've come forward with a plant listing. We've submitted that to the arborist of the state to make sure that they're okay, a plant listing and a location listing. And then we'll go forward with an encroachment permit from the DOT. So that will probably run the life of the winter, and we'll be looking to plant in the spring. For that, we are looking to get together with members of the Conservancy and Parks Department to meet about Waveney proper itself, to see about tree planting there. I gather that the Park and Rec Commission said yes to the new oak tree being planted down by the pond. I have a contractor that's coming in to grind the stump out and then remove the stump in its entirety. And then we'll look to get the selectmen to sign an agreement for buying a new tree down there and replacing that one with the Conservancy's help. And then the last one was a GreenLink. The work is slated to be surveyed and designed October, November of this year. So that's the loop, or the continuation of loop from Bristow and around the corner to Gower. The stretch from Park Street to Bristow has already been designed, and we're in discussion with the DOT as to an encroachment permit for that work. And then this subsequent work will go to them as a second phase kind of thing. We'll get that first phase hopefully approved over the winter, and out to bid and can start under construction in the spring. And then as far as Bristow goes, they're almost done with phase 3. They're actually working on the pavilion, the patio for the pavilion, placing the stones there, and they got a little bit of extra work to do, and then they'll be done with phase 3. And if you haven't gone and taken a look at the new lookout, it's really nice. It's a nice area. It's a nice little spot to kind of stand and look out across most of Bristow. So they're doing nice work there.
A great update.
I have a
Questions, please.
question on the pavilion. Is the wood pressure treated?
I think so. It's going to be either cedar or pressure treated
Okay.
footings.
And it's not gonna be underground?
No, there are actual cement footings that are now been poured and in place, so it'll be raised.
Right.
You'll have a cedar roof on it too. Tiger, John, any questions?
No, I don't think it.
All right, Tiger, I have a couple questions for you while you're here. With regards to solar, does the town actually see a reduction in the rate of electricity consumption that's being metered out? Or how do you, or are you seeing a savings in your electrical spending?
That's difficult because you're looking at rate changes that were put into play, via what we were looking for. The majority of the solar was to try to, and the CHP installations was to try to knock the top off of our what's called your demand charge, right? So if you spike into a certain level, you get credited with a demand charge that they then charge you for the next 12 months. So we try to knock the top off of that and get us back to the point where we wouldn't be looking at the demand charge. So it's difficult to say from this year to last year to see the savings. We're looking to try to have everything in place and look at it from an annual basis for 1 year, go back and see our usage versus our savings, right? So we look at a drop in use, which would be a drop in savings, right? It would be a savings, but it might be offset by the fact that our rates had changed, in the interim, but we just wouldn't be paying the extra utility usage. So we're just waiting for that 1 year, and then we'll take a look back on where we are. But you can go on our website. If you go onto the town's website, go under DPW and building maintenance. There's a link for the solar. You click on the link for the solar and it'll bring up the town's installations. And then you can actually click on those and see it real time past 7 days. And then it's overall how much it's saved over time. I did that exercise again today. So you can go on and take a look. It's kind of nice to see how it actually works, and how, yesterday was a sunny day and you could see the graph was really tall. And then today the graph was really small, right? Because it was a little bit overcast, right? So tell you exactly how we're doing.
Yeah, which is why having a kind of a full year kind of look at it, it'd be the big advantage. But I'm with you, which is it's not just dollar savings, it's the kilowatts.
Well, that's the only thing you can really.
You can look at the volume.
Kilowatts, right? I mean, you can't control the rate, right? You can only.
Right.
But I'd love to be able to tell the story a little more broadly about benefits of having installed solar, even if it was in terms of kilowatt hour saved. Because everyone I talk to who puts solar up, they always talk about, hey, I'm recharging my car for free, or all the different things that are going on.
We'll be doing a little bit of a deeper dive come budget time, because we'll be asked that exact same question from the Board of Finance Town Council. So when we have that data, we can certainly come back and share it. But we'll be asked that exact same question. What have we seen? So we'll share that with you at that time.
Just out of curiosity, what caused the surge pricing? Was that some comparison over previous year, or was that like a spike? You just mentioned it, there was an amount above which surge price.
Well, the surge is just, they'll hit you with it usually comes at a particular point in time, right? Like say your worst day, say in the middle of July when it's 100 degrees out, we're trying to air condition the town hall, right? And a lot of other things are going on at that point in time. The town hall's fully engaged with everyone there. Everyone's using every device that they have, so they're pulling up as much electricity as possible, and you'll see our usage spike. If we get outside our range, then it gets into a point where they consider that a demand charge. We're pulling more than we normally pull, and they charge you extra for that. We like to drop that off. So anything that we can do to reduce that, LED lighting, we've already done that, but other things that you can do, and specifically the solar or the CHP units that we're installing are helping us knock down that upper end, right? It might not take us off the grid completely, but it'll flatten our line. And if it flattens our line, then we stay below, and we're not assessed any additional charges. The same thing at your house. If you do the same thing at your house and you run your dishwasher, your washing machine, and your dryer at the same time, you'll see a spike in your usage, and you might see them, charge you the exact same thing.
Couple more questions with regards to the native tree planting program for roads. Are you anticipating residences requesting a tree planting, or because right now you're doing state roads, it looks like Main Street or South 124 or 106. How are you playing that out?
Right now, we're focused on what we call the South Avenue Relief Project, right? So RELEAF, whereby we just went through and pruned all the trees that had been done in the previous installation back in the the late nineties. And then the plan is to install anything that had been lost during that time in that first phase, and then expand the phase from Bank Street, Old Stamford Road 106, southward to Waveney, and then plant both sides of the street, the correct tree based upon location of wires and things of that nature. And then at that point in time, see exactly how much money we have left to then branch forward into other areas where we've had to take down a number of trees, say on a roadside, and that road is starting to look a little bare, I guess we would call it. And at that point in time, we'd look to try to put the right tree in the right place. Again, we certainly would listen to a residential request, since we'll be talking to every resident as well about what we want to do in front of their house. Even though it's in state right away or our right away, we want to make sure that they're satisfied or comfortable with what we're doing. But we would certainly take residential requests at that time. But we are looking for, we spend the majority of our money on our tree budget are on tree removals. So we'd like to see this, kind of help augment some of that and get some of the replacements back.
I think that's a great idea, Chris. If there was, once you know how much money's left over, if there was some way for people to request it,
Mhm.
it would kind of make everyone's life potentially a little easy. If you had their okay and it was okay with the town, it made sense from a wider perspective.
It makes it easier if they want it, if they request it and they want it, it makes it a lot easier. The discussion's a lot easier, and to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Got it. I think that the strategy of reliefing our main boulevards makes a lot of sense, and then there's going to be opportunities peripherally to continue to work on things consistent with things like cherry or elm or oak or what have you. So I'm delighted that this got in. I'm delighted that ARPA funding backed it up, and Tiger, I think kudos to you for picking up the program and making it go forward.
Thank you.
Quick question on the Green Link. There's always a challenge in dealing with the state in terms of the permits and the, I think you call them easements, or what is it, exceptions to allow you to do it. I'm pretty sure the state understands that 106, 123, and 124 are major thoroughfares for the citizens of our town. And you would think they would be a little bit favorable about things like sidewalks. I do have this question, which is, when you say the work has been pretty much done from Park to the gate of Bristow, in your mind, the planning for that, would that also have included the pull-off area, or is the pull-off part of the phase 2?
No, I'll answer that question first. The pull-off area is part of phase 1, so it was all inclusive. So it went to Bristow, including the pull-off area, parking area, and then phase 2 went from the parking area where we ended, then towards Gower Road. We continually work with the state. It's an encroachment permit, since we're inside, we're encroaching within their right of way. It took us well over a year to get the encroachment permit for 124 from Heritage Hill to Parade Hill, and that was a replacement of an existing sidewalk. So some of the requirements are on the permitting are quite difficult. The hurdles are a little bit high. But if we go in with a nice plan set at the beginning, we tend to get a nice review. So we're going in with a nice plan set, and we're hoping that we're addressing all their concerns. We meet with them intermittently as we're developing the plan set and then go forward. But there's always some questions or concerns as it moves its way through. There's several people that have to see it on their side: DOT traffic, DOT permitting, maintenance. There's a bunch of different facets that goes into an encroachment permit, and then working within their right of way.
I would offer this, Tiger, if there's any meetings or public meetings which deal with the Green Link going down 106, I'd be happy to attend and be a proponent for why we want to do that in an effort to connect our parts and present a perspective.
Thanks. When we develop the plan set, there'll be a I'll call it a public unveiling, but we'll have to have a time before we meet with the council and say this is what we're proposing to do, and get their blessing. And I would imagine at that point in time, residents will come out and speak for and against. So
And I think we should remind the commissioners that I believe there's 250,000 of ARPA money behind this concept, so. There's a lot of force and momentum to get this done.
Getting a pull out there,
Yeah.
just will dramatically increase use of the park. without
Yeah.
doubt, in my mind.
Right. Tiger, quick one. In terms of getting messages out, is there a chance for us to participate in the tax mailer insert again this year? And do you have a rough deadline of when I'd have to have something completed? Or did I miss it?
You didn't miss it, no. Well, for the December or January billing, no, we haven't missed it, and that would be in December.
Okay.
but I can-
Draft something up.
Yeah, I'll talk to Roseanne tomorrow and just say that we're looking to have another insert and to
Right.
to anticipate something going forward. And if it's similar to what we had before, it shouldn't be an issue.
Got it. And Linda, that might be an opportunity for us to pop
Sure.
something leaf blower. So.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tiger.
I have one question.
Absolutely.
Another subject. Tiger, do we have any influence with the state on the tire busting potholes that are cropping up from 123 all the way east to Silvermine? You have to steer your way through. It's all really bad, really bad.
There's so the state suspended a couple of their paving areas this year because of cost for asphalt, as you can imagine, on this for a state level, for the magnitude that they're doing, started to drive them to the point where they had to put a couple of projects that they had slated to do this year in town off till next year. One was a stretch of 123, another was a stretch of 106, and then another on 124. So there's about 3 sections that were not done this year that, in speaking with the state, when they deferred them, they said that they would be back on the table for next year. So they're aware of the fact that the pavement's starting to deteriorate and they have some issues. If you have specific areas of concern, let me know and I can call the state garage on Gertie's Road and let them know. So if you give me if you house number, location near a street, I don't want to send them out and say you got to drive all of 123 and find them. I'd rather give them a close location. But if you can find something, let me know and I'll certainly forward it to them.
Tiger, on 123 going east, just as at that intersection, there's a whole bunch of potholes all together. When I get to that area, I have to steer around it. It's
You're
really
talking-
bad. People are coming down and they're putting the brakes on and the paint's pounded. But there's more there too, in addition to that.
One at the intersection of 123 and 106?
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
That section there was newly paved. The what you're seeing is a manhole. They're actually raising the manholes, so it might get better within the next week or so in that area. So that's what I think that's what you're seeing is they paved over all the manholes as part of their protocols to pave them over, and then you raise them up afterwards to the correct grade. So you might be seeing all that work while it's going on. So hopefully that's the case. If not, I'll ask them to take a look further.
Right.
I know
Well,
106 heading eastbound from that location is quite difficult. And that's one of the stretches that was deferred.
All right, thank you, Marty. Thank you,
Thank you.
Tiger. With regards to Bristow, again, another tremendous amount of progress in this last few months, including two important events in my mind. One is the fence line has now been completed. And that means that the whole southern fence line is up and high. And I'm gonna ask John at some point, you and I should install the game camera. Because I am anxious to know whether the deer are still wandering through or not. But thank you for all the work you did on getting that fence line completed. That really does help us
That was a big deal.
with the park work. Secondly, and again, actually, there's several things. The shunt dam that would divert water into the pond and then overflow in an alternate way, that was just repaired. And that means now the pond is going to get a steady flow instead of drying out or running out. And it is amazing that stream bed runs continuously, even in the hottest days of the year. So there must be a natural spring somewhere in that cycle that supplies water through to Bristol Park. So thank you for getting that done. And then finally, also, another round of Norway maple cutting that was completed around the whole, what we're trying to develop as a wildflower sanctuary has been done. And the pad is in, so this has been a really great time. I was so nervous that the crew that does it is doing so many other jobs for the town, but they really have done quite a bit of work there.
Mhm.
And it looks like the pavilion pad is almost set. There's just a little more stonework to do. And then they'll almost be able to clean up at that point.
Yes, yeah, they should be done soon. You're right. They're stretched in different projects, but we had to defer them to one to get some stuff done before school started, and then came back and said, okay, we deferred you from Bristol. Now let's go to Bristol, and then there'll be they just won the sidewalk bid on Gower Road, a stretch from Southwood to South School that we're missing. There's a gap, and they just won that bid, so they'll be going there next to finish that before the season starts to close on us. So yeah, we had to jump them around a little bit. We appreciate the patience, but I needed to finish work over at Farm Road and Saks School before the schools open, before I could come back to Bristol and start the work there. So.
And then just for the commissioners report, and I think Tiger is aware of this, we do have a complete plan for the bird blind that will be put into the, I guess, the spur trail. And we were very fortunate to find what looks to be like just a wonderful young carpenter who was willing to do the labor on it as a volunteer, and has been a very specific bill of goods. The style of the blind is more like a lean-to, and it's going to have the feel of something like, I guess the carpenter referred to it as sort of Eastern Kentucky, rough cut wood and rough sawn wood and everything. So it's going to be very, I think it's going to be very, very neat once it goes in. It's probably going to need to, it looks like it may start sometime in the 2nd or 3rd of November, and he'll go in first to pour some footings and then build on top of that and set it up. So hopefully by then, Peter Lonnie and his crew will have opened up the access way so that we can get something back there. I'm very thrilled about that progress. And again, just to make sure it's in your diary, September 8th, 2024 is the centennial celebration at Bristol Park. We touched on the cameras there. So now I need to and Tiger, I think that covers all the points we have for you. So if you're waiting to have dinner or anything like that, you're a free man, but you're welcome to sit in on the last discussion points under.
Thank you. I got to go back to the P&Z meeting, so I'll go back to that now. But thank you very much. And
thank you again, Tiger, for all your
Bye.
help.
All right, thanks. Take care.
Super. All right, on commissioners, I'm going to introduce a point of new business, and I'd like to have a discussion with you. Just before the meeting was sent out, and Linda, you're on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Before the meeting was sent out, I sent a note to you that had to do with this upcoming event. The New Canaan Land Trust is in discussions with a neighbor of the Watson-Symington Woodlands. Watson-Symington is off Wellesley Drive. I think, Linda, you might be familiar with it off the
Yes.
Woodlands. I'm certainly is.
Of course.
It's the 37-acre woodlands, and it's the quote-unquote crown jewel of the land trust. One of the neighbors has been in discussions with the land trust to donate 2 parcels and sell 1 parcel to the land trust. So it would be something like 7 acres, 7.2 acres at a cost of around $125,000 an acre for acquisition purposes. The land trust is working, and I'm ex officio on the board, so I know this. So the land trust is working on its financing options and fundraising options to do it, which includes applying for a state grant of up to almost 2/3 of the purchase price. The situation we're in is that when you put an application into the state, you have to collect recommendations from Conservation Commission, First Selectmen, state senators, and what have you. Well, we drafted a note, we've submitted a note, and what I'm gonna ask for is your support to request that the town of New Canaan, which has a land acquisition fund, which was established through the Conservation Commission, evaluate and potentially support the contribution of funds towards this acquisition of open space.
Is the purchase, the acres under consideration, do they abut onto the Symington property?
They do, they're adjoining the property.
Okay.
And there are 3 buildable lots, so that if they can be preserved as open space, it's a huge win
We're getting a wonderful price.
for the parks. And I think that the economics sound pretty attractive, and even more attractive is, I hope, is that if the state funding can come through, but the town also can support it with some of the monies that have been set aside in the land acquisition fund, which I believe at this moment are currently at $200,000. So
Fantastic, how wonderful that would be.
that would be great. So
You want to make a motion? I mean, the letter is, do
I
you
would
want
love
to
to
put the,
hear a motion. I don't know whether John or Linda or you.
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion
I said,
to use the funds or use funds from the land acquisition fund to support the purchase of the property.
I second.
Second, okay, discussion.
I'm just happy the way it is.
Got it. So then I think that I'd like to take just a quick vote, roll call vote in support of using the land acquisition funds to support the acquisition of acreage adjoining the Watson Symington Woodlands Land Trust property.
Just before we do that,
Yes.
the property that to be acquired is north of the current pull-off, or where is it actually?
The property to be acquired is off Greenlee Road,
It's off
so
of
it's
Green.
on the southern perimeter of the park,
I see.
right?
So it butts neighbors.
Yeah.
There's no road access to that property.
There is the 2 acres, the 2 lots being given directly abut the land trust.
Right,
And the third one being acquired is the access way into
I see.
that property.
I see. I got it. Fabulous. Now, we should proceed with that.
Proceed with vote. So, can I get a vote all in favor of supporting a contribution?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye, Linda,
Aye,
Marty,
yes, aye.
John, aye, all 4 unanimous. Thank you, guys. I think I'm gonna call the meeting at, with your permission, call the meeting, motion to adjourn at 7:27.
I second that motion.
Okay, the meeting, all in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all so much. Hi, Linda, it's great to see you. Is that one of your Greece photos behind us?
Yes. Makes me dream of still being there.
Are you in town, can we ask? Are you someplace beautiful like that?
Yeah. It really looks like that. That's not a touched up photo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, thank
Right.
you all very much.
Bye.
Good to see you, Linda.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
I'm gonna and close off the meeting here. And we're gonna end. Marty,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna end the meeting for all.